I'm going to call up Pablo and Dario. Thanks, Holly. Thanks, Alex. We're going to have a couple of testimonies while you guys are preparing all that. Pablo and Dario, they wanted to tell their story together because they've journeyed together as friends. And that's a really valuable thing. And so some of you guys know this guy as DEZCRY. His artist name is a rapper. Some of you guys know this guy as Prophetic for all the things that he does. He's awesome at video and other stuff. These guys are like partners in crime. And they're going to tell a bit about the story. He's rapped here before. And Dario's done video stuff with us before. They're both part of Honeycomb, which is our youth ministry. And we started a youth ministry when we didn't have any youth, and these guys were some of the first ones as a part of that. So Pablo, can you tell these guys a little bit about your journey before you decided to get serious with God?
Well, my background is basically I was raised in a Christian household, you could say. I was raised kind of knowing of God, every God, just kind of knowing that you should have a religion, you should kind of like be accountable, but at the same time I didn't know what it meant to live for God, to actually serve Him as a Christian. So growing up, I've always had the basis of God in my life, but I never was really serving Him. I was never giving my life to Him. I just kind of, I was on His side. Like if people brought up God in a situation saying He doesn't exist, I would always back Him up, but I would never actually serving myself. I didn't even know how accountable I was. So yeah, I just raised Christian. I'm 17, and before coming to God, I would always I'd hang out with people and stuff, like from school, and go to school, hang out. I was never really crazy. I didn't do anything much on the weekends. Like most people just they want to party and stuff. I was never really involved in that kind of stuff, which is good. And I know God has His elect. And we all know that, but at the same time, I didn't even know I was going to come to God. I didn't even know that I was one of those people. But I always had a discernment. I always had a discernment in terms of not really flowing with the crowd. I would always just, I'd always make the right decision. I would have my morals, and I would know this is not right. This is not right. I shouldn't be doing that. And so before coming to God, I would just, I wasn't really aware of serving Him. I would kind of like acknowledge Him. I wasn't involved in anything wrong, but at the same time, I wanted to get to know Him.
So what brought you to the point where you wanted to get serious with God, and how did that happen?
Well, it all started actually when I was in grade 9, I guess. I never actually prayed before, so it actually started when I actually prayed for a friend. I started school in high school, and I didn't really have anybody to hang out with. I usually would try to find people to hang out with. People would be like, "Oh, who are you hanging out with tonight?" I mean, who are you hanging out with at school, like during lunchtime, or just like whatever. So I wasn't really, I felt really like not lonely, but I just kind of felt like I've always needed a crowd to hang out with. And so that's, at the same time, I actually, I knew of God, and I just I should try it out. My mom would always tell me like, you should pray at night and stuff. And so I kind of had that in my mind, and I said, I'm gonna try to ask God for a friend, like if He can do stuff, like He's the only person I think that could provide me with somebody. So I prayed for a friend, and we actually started talking and stuff. I met him in math class, and it's right here. But I met him, and we actually just started talking about. We came across the point where we started talking about religion. We started talking about what we do on the weekend. And he usually talks about church, and I realized his family was really religious, and actually and we started talking about religion and stuff, and that's when I actually started to get more talking about our accountability, and actually if there's a God and your beliefs and all that kind of stuff.
Describe that point of when you started to get serious with God. How did your life and lifestyle and habits?
Getting serious with God, we both talked about religion and stuff, but it was the same thing, and I would always know so much about it in a sense, but I didn't have the relationship with God. I didn't experience Him yet, so I wasn't able to actually feel that I didn't know about His love. I didn't know about what He did for me. I didn't even know what Jesus meant, what His death meant. I just kind of took it for granted in a sense. I was so like smart about it, but I didn't do anything about it. And we started talking and getting more into it. In my family, like I said, I was raised Christian, so my sisters, they would always invite me to come out to like church events. And on Wednesdays, there was this thing in Maple Ridge, there's a campus called CLA. And they had this event every Wednesday for youth and stuff, and I kind of went with that. Me and my friend Sean and Dario, we all went together. We always used to go every Wednesday and go there. Usually, I think we would kind of go for the wrong reasons because there was a lot of girls there, and we usually just go just to like, you know, try to look good and just kind of like, you know, whatever. It was like where a bunch of teens came, so we went for the wrong reasons. And
So you guys went to fellowship with the girls?
It's alright, man. Speak the truth, man.
We just did worship. We thought it was fun because they had like a band and everything. So getting involved with all these church events and stuff, we kind of like went. It was like that flow. And so eventually, I got into a relationship. This is when like I started actually feeling conviction. Is when I got into a relationship. When I got a girlfriend. My friendship with Dario, kind of like, it didn't split apart. I just became really distant in terms of what we did together. We didn't really fellowship, but we just, you know, like I said, we talked about religion and just about God and stuff. At the same time, my distance from him, I didn't realize how strong he was, how he started to learn about God more, and how he started to know that, like, because I talked about being Catholic and stuff, and told him about Christianity, and told him how the differences in what Jesus did, and how it's more relationship and intimate with God. And so he thought about it, and he started to get more closer with God and stuff. At the time I was in my relationship, I didn't have much time to spend with him, so I didn't even realize what was going on in his life. So during my relationship, I had lots of I invested probably like 120% to my girlfriend. Just living right now, I just noticed how much time, I'm not going to say I wasted. I take it as an experience from God of going through that relationship, because it's brought me to lots of places, and it's given me lots of wisdom through that. So in my relationship, there was lots of things going on in terms of arguments and sexual stuff going between me and my girlfriend, and I knew it was kind of wrong in a sense, but I didn't know why. I didn't know it was sin. I didn't know I was accountable for it, and I didn't know that if I kept doing that, it's not the right thing. I was going to lead to disappointment. And so during that time, my friend, Dario constantly tried talking to me and stuff, but I would always I'd always reject him. I'd always push him off. He would message me on MSN, ask me, man, I've been growing with God a lot, and I want you to join me. I felt convicted. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I thought I could figure it out. I thought that I could fix my relationship, whatever the point was. If it was going bad, I thought I could just I could talk and work things out all the time. And I thought, okay, I always closed the window. I always closed the MSN window. I'd always reject him when he talked about it at school. I felt conviction, and I knew it was wrong, but I thought I could do it. And I thought I didn't need God. I always tried to push God to the sideline, and then I realized He was the lifeline after that. So just in my relationship, I felt conviction, and I knew it wasn't right for me. I would always go home on the bus, from my girlfriend's house, knowing that I did something wrong that night, or just even if I didn't do anything, I would know that just being in the confinements of that relationship wasn't godly, and I knew that I was kind of running from God and kind of pushing Him aside. And so I knew I had to give my relationship up. And at first, I obviously upset, man, I don't know if I can even do this. I really tried to lean towards God, but at the same time, I didn't know how I would talk to my girlfriend about it, because I think she kind of had that background, but she didn't even know what I meant. When I approached her one day and I told her I can't do this anymore because I want to live for God, and she didn't even know what that meant, and she started crying. It was a really tough moment when I actually told her about how I felt. For anybody, if you're in a relationship and if you say I want to live for God, what do you think they're gonna say, right? I didn't know how to say it, but I told her about it, and it was really tough for me and her, and obviously we did kind of slowly spread apart. And that same night, I went home, and I know I had my Bible and stuff, and I knew that's one of the tools we need to fellowship with God. And I didn't have her in my life, and like I said, I devoted 120% to her. And when you take something out of your life that you devote your time to, you don't even know what to do, right? Mm-hmm. It's just what am I going to do now? So after she wasn't really a priority in my life, I mean, it didn't happen that fast, but as I slowly noticed I needed to live for God, I actually wanted to get more into His Word. I actually started I opened the Bible and like there's it's in Psalms, like it says like delight in the Lord and He will give you the desires of your heart. That's probably one of the main scriptures that I leaned on because I didn't know what it was gonna do first. I didn't really know what it meant first, but I kind of felt like, is my relationship really what I want? Is it my desire? Because all the time I thought it was like, I feel good at a relationship, but at the same time it always leads to disappointment. It always leads to just not feeling right and just feeling that conviction was